Linebacker, 2 and 2. And again, we tried to have the same calls as our base and our saw and under with our heads. We would have a couple change-ups here and there. We had like an in and out and a switch type of deal. But for the most part, we would run all of our same blitzes out of this. Terminology was simple for all the kids and for us as well as coaches. There wasn't a lot of, there were certain adjustments we had to make, but there wasn't a lot of new things we had to put in from a week-to-week basis. This is kind of wide. It was our camera guy's first time. You can see here we're a little bit wider. You know, some guys would like, when we first started this, I put my guy to go 6, but it just made more sense to bring him in a little closer. Now, if it's a 3rd and long situation where we know it's a pass and we're going to drop everybody and just keep the front 4 rushing, then yeah, we're going to wind him out a little bit and let him go have fun. Same principles applied to all of this as well. If we're a C-gap player, we have to keep contained. If we're interior lineman, we're now a dive player. Redirect, go run, defeat the block in front of you. You know, and sometimes up front the guys had to cheat a little bit one way or another. You line up a little more of a shade if you had to get to his B gap or the other way. I always tried preaching to stay up, you know, stay head up. But, you know, at times with your personnel, you're just going to have to cheat a little bit. The biggest thing is for me up front, I'm more worried about what we do as a defensive line. I don't care what the offensive line does. We need to get in our gap. We need to do our responsibility. So if it's going to help us to get there, then help yourself out, help our defense out, and get in your gap. You know, I would like our end up here to disengage off that block and seal the edge, but does a pretty good job of getting his hands inside and having him sealing off that edge. Let our inside pressure get to the running back. Here's a good look. Right here, head up, 2, and he's outside at a 9. Same principle as our base, because we're kind of, you know, we don't have to do a lot of switching around to our strength. Our guys are interchangeable up front, which is a great thing, so they can do both. Here's our dog right here. One thing we try to do, Coach Manchester will definitely hit on it later, is get this guy helping out and run a little more. This one here, sir? Yes. Yeah, what's our blitz here? Yeah, we must have had either a slant or a slant to the outside, or excuse me, a whip or a strong call. Again, and we're going to get into it a little bit later, but if his responsibility is to get outside, he's going to run his 45 vertical outside of his gap to keep contained.
Takes his slant off.
Sir?
Does that take his slant off?
Oh, you know what? This is a 2. This is a 2 call. 2 call up front is going to tell our 2 interior linemen they're going 2 to call, and our backer and our defensive end is going to keep contained. Sir, what was that question? I'm sorry.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, tough. We put tough in. Some people call us an eagle front. We called it tough. We did this starting off with kind of helping us out with short yardage, goal line situations. But again, we would call it sometimes just to try it out against 10 personnel and things like that. But it helped us out, especially versus running the inside. Different as heads. Instead of being 2 2s and 2 6s, we would walk both the bats down. All right, and our ends would now come down to a 3. Okay, so we would have a 3, 0, and a 3. Okay, our strong bat would be at a 9, and our weak bat would be at a 9. Our dogs would now be walking in, and they would be playing stacked behind the bats to inside. This is our tough call.
Coach,
Sir.
your dogs they have a hard time because they're out playing in space, coming in and playing inside like that?
Rob could definitely answer that question for you a little more, but these guys are pretty athletic. They're kind of like our hybrid position between safeties and linebackers. I think they enjoy it. I think they enjoy coming inside and helping out versus the run. I know we had a guy, Rashad McCray, last year who, he'd want to go crack somebody in the head. So he kind of liked coming in and being a field player and helping out with our C gap and playing cutback.
Those guys know they're run players
First, right.
anyway. I mean, and we treat them like linebackers. Obviously they got coverage responsibility, but they're getting a run pass read first,
Right.
and they know they've got to be a part of stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You don't see them having a hard time usually in the box with guys coming at them right now.
well, what's kind of been funny for us is nobody's really accounted for blocking.
Right.
But when they do, our guys have done a good job of playing those blocks, and we try to rep them as much as possible against the offensive line, just to get them used to it.
One thing we're teaching the dogs too is that probably the last couple of years we've had to do a lot more of it is letting that dog know where the bat is going to be. I mean, if he's out there in a 9, and that's your contain guy. So if that dog knows that, he knows now he can get in that C gap
Going up
quick
inside,
for cutback and ISO if that's to that way. We mainly do this versus 22 personnel, things like that.
Okay.
And usually there shouldn't be, unless they put 2 receivers out over here. They're only going to split the difference between the tight end and the number 2 receivers. So, and they're just reading their inside guys. It's really easy to get inside. We feel like it.
Okay.
Like Chad said, nobody accounts for it.
Right.
So,
That's good.
And you got to understand too, he's showing you the front, but most of the time we're bringing people.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of times we're just sitting there playing block.
Right.
You'll see him coming off the edge here.
Again, our main thing for our defense is to get penetration and play on their side line of scrimmage. Again, I'm not going to ask our defensive linemen to read the key to via their neck, squeezing down, defeating reach blocks, that whole deal. We want to get our butts upfield and attack, and then read on the run. So if we recognize a down block, look inside first threat. We're going to cover all that stuff later, but yeah, we are sitting guys every single play. I don't think we ran just a regular old heads or solid or anything like that one time this year. 07, we did a little more. This year we were attack, attack, attack. Some of our players, Marcus Williams, he had to get a little wider than usual.
Coach, on this hinge block here, they reverse.
Sir?
On this hinge block here, what's their technique?
First carry out the way they're moving. If hopefully we're picking a blitz or a stun up front that we're going butt side. What I teach is always go through your blocks first. If the guy hinge blocks this way, of course we know the quarterback's going butt side. Boom, attack it, and then redirect and go. Now, if we're in a position where we're slanting 2 butt side already, we know that the quarterback's spreading out. Haul butt, go get him. Our defensive end now, if they have a C gap and they see a hinge protect from the tackle, our eyes have to immediately go to the running back or outside threat because we're going to get some type of outside block to seal us from getting outside. But, again, back when we played, I was attacking guys up front. If we see our butt, we redirect right now. Here, we're going to carry out our blitz because the first thing that we're going to do is get penetration as a defense. After that, we redirect and go find the ball carrier. So you can see right here, Torrey Ball. He's carrying out his stunt right here. He's okay. He's recognized his butt side. Boom, redirect and go play. And we saw a lot of hinge block, probably more so this year than last year, just for that reason. Here's Tough versus 32. I was a big fan of Tough. We had good, with the exception of one guy, I think, up front. I think we had the personnel to really do well with Tough. So I was always excited when we called it up front.
Can you point out where the dogs are at right here?
Yes, sir.
They're outside.
Yep. Here
Okay,
and here.
okay.
That's actually our corners. We got our two.
Oh, my bad. Here's a dog.
They're blitzing.
Yeah, 18.
We're pinching everybody in the middle. It's 4th and short. We're pinching it, bringing them off the edge.
Yeah,
And then our
here
corners
and
moving
here.
inside
Okay.
to take their place.
That's our dog. That's our dog. We were pitching up front, like Coach Lunsford just said, sending these guys outside. Now they become contained players, and he always had a pretty good knack of it. Here's our dog. Here's again 4th and short. Probably would like to see him coming over the top right here and him coming down and making more contact with the lead blocker and him coming up feeling a little quicker. Okay, gaps. We put this in for last game of the season. It was out of our bear personnel. We would take our corner, both of our corners out. Oops, excuse me. Okay, and we'd bring another tackle, nose guard, or bring another linebacker. This was basically our goal line package, short yardage situation. Our strong end right here is going to be lined up, just as the front says, in the B gap. Our nose guards will line up in the A gap. Our weak nose guards are going to line up in the other A gap. Our weak end is now going to be in a B gap, and we're going to be head up front right here. Our linebackers are going to be lined up covering the guards up, and our dog's going to be walked in.
Who's your contained players on these? The dogs or the bats?
It matters what we have called up front, what type of blitz. Again, we're always going to be doing something up front. Gulf Coast came in and it was Gulf Coast came in. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay. For this situation too, I had put our defensive linemen in 4-point stances. I'm not a fan of the submarine deal where defensive linemen are diving at the leg. I hate that. We don't teach it, but what we did teach, we're on all fours, we're penetrating our gaps. We're not lunging, we're running our gaps and staying on our feet, because when we're on the ground, we're dead. We're no use to this defense. Get in 4-point stance, get great pad level, and attack. You see our backer right here, keep it contained outside, make sure it doesn't bounce. It's in great position. Didn't get as much penetration as we'd like outside, or excuse me, inside from our nose guard right here. It's never a good thing when your nose guard's going backwards. He needs to hold his ground and drive through that.